results. Revenue at 3.17 billion euros, up 4.2% year over year.
Reporting third quarter sales up 4.8%. Franklin Golf Romeo.
The Fed policy will be driven by the pace of the data. Same policy will remain accommodative.
Futures off sessions low, still down about 1% on the day for a little more than 4 pennies.
Art, not a science, and it takes some practice, but once you get the hang of it, it can really work well. I'm not advocating using calendars as a directional trade. I'm just saying if you've got a really high volatility level and you've had several days of selling pressure, a rebound or a bounce can be pretty violent to the upside. And I try to take that into consideration when I pick my strikes. I want to make sure I make that clear.
You did it.
As far as the short-term calendar trade construction, obviously it involves the use of underlyings that offer weekly option chains. So typically, there's a whole lot of underlyings that have weekly options, and you can look them all up. I almost put a list up, but the list is so long anymore that it would take up the whole screen. But weekly options haven't been around forever. They were introduced not that long ago, but they've really caught on, and there's quite a bit of volume there. But the advantage on the weeklies, when we're using calendars, is since you're selling the weekly time frame, you only are really looking at 5 days. I guess technically you can enter them on a Thursday night, but technically, I don't want to get too detail-oriented on this, but you're looking at basically 1 week till expiration. So the time decay is extremely rapid. For beginners that may be out there, time decay, a lot of people believe early on that time decay is linear, meaning each day is assigned a certain amount of time decay, and that's not the case. The final 2 weeks of time decay accelerate exponentially. Yeah, so most of the time decay happens in the final 2 weeks leading up to expiration. Well, the weeklies, you're basically just getting the weekly time decay over and over again. So you have what we know when we take these trades is that the time value in 5 or 6 trading sessions is going to be 0. And that's part of what drives the profitability and why these things can work so well. So the trade time frame is generally 1 to 2 weeks or less. It depends on whether the trader rolled the contracts forward. And sometimes, in one of our examples today, the example we're going to show, I did roll forward. And what that basically means is I close out the front weekly, and then I basically close that weekly contract and then sell the following week against my monthly long. So we'll talk about that when the example comes. So that's when you can lengthen this trade out a little bit if price is really cooperating. I can tell you and tell those listening that when you do roll forward, if price action cooperates, the returns can get unbelievably good. They can get really juicy really fast. Right. A lot of times, if I can roll forward to the next week, if I can have price cooperate till about Wednesday, I can usually close on Wednesdays for huge gains based on maximum risk. So just something to cover. Next point is initial trades can be adjusted to widen out the profitability range through the purchase of additional calendar spreads. So basically what I do is I start off the trade with one singular calendar spread. Okay? And then if price gets, what I typically look at, it's pretty basic. I look at I plot the profitability curve, the P&L graph, and I look at the option expiration break-even points. So, and I base when I add, if price touches those expiration break-even points, I add the next calendar. It's that simple. Because the thing you have to understand, I want to hammer this home, you can't mess around with these adjustments on these weeklies. If you play around and try to play price action and you're wrong, you're going to pay big time. So I don't mess around. If price touches those expiration break-evens, I'm making adjustments.
Thank you for watching this clip of our Options Tribe webinar. The rest of the recording is available on OptionsTribe.com. I'm Seth Freuberg, and I've been hosting the Options Tribe since May of 2011. We've brought in options experts from all over the world to make excellent presentations to our members. So go right now to optionstribe.com to learn more about options education, or you can send me an email at sfreudberg@smbcap.com.